As the live export impasse moves into its fourth week, there's rising industry concern that Indonesia is making preparations to reduce its reliance on Australian feeder cattle. The Agriculture Minister Joe Ludwig held talks with his opposite number in Jakarta this week and would have been left in no doubt how seriously the Indonesians regard the sudden suspension of the beef trade. Export permits expire this week, and it's predicted that even if a resumption can be negotiated soon, the Indonesians won't be accepting anything like the numbers from Northern Australia that they have previously. At the same time, South Australian Independent Senator Nick Xenophon was introducing a private member's bill to federal parliament to phase out the trade altogether. He's speaking to Kerry Lonergan.
Senator, firstly, thanks for your time joining us on Landline.
Pleasure.
Do you really have any idea of the scale and magnitude of what your bill proposes?
I've had lots of strident representations from those who are concerned about the impact of this bill, but I've also had many thousand representations from people who are concerned about the issue of animal cruelty and about dealing with this in a comprehensive way.
I'll get onto that in a moment, but first of all, ultimately the aim of your bill is to bring to an end an industry that contributes $1 billion or more to export income, has hundreds if not thousands of small businesses involved, and if I can use a Canberra cliche, employs thousands of Australian working families. You want to bring it all to an end.
And over a 3-year period, after 3 years, it needs to be done on a transitional basis, and a model for reform, a model for change, is what occurred in New Zealand with their live trade in terms of sheep. That was brought to an end some 4 years ago. I've read the comments, that seems to be a bipartisan policy. I've read the comments of the New Zealand minister that they won't be resuming that trade. And my primary concerns when I was involved in this issue some time ago was about the number of sheep that have died on journeys to the Middle East, halfway around the world. And I think it's important that the perspective needs always to be one of animal cruelty and also building up the capacity to sell chilled meat to a number of these markets.
Let's talk about processing in Northern Australia. You want these northern cattle to be processed across Northern Australia and sent to Indonesia as box beef.
Well, that has to be the long-term solution, but there will be a Senate inquiry chaired by Senator Bill Heffernan, who passionately disagrees with me on this issue. I respect him for that. We need to look at the beef market. We need to look at the way that the market operates in terms of the number of processors, whether there is sufficient competition, and all these associated issues need to be dealt with.
Yes, we have two major processors in Australia at present, Tees Brothers and JBS or JB Swift.
Yes.
Neither of them are in Northern Australia. Another very smart operator called Roger Fletcher, he's not in Northern Australia. Do you know why they're not in Northern Australia?
Well,